Today is a glorious day, you absolute filthy Spartans, as the long-awaited miniature tabletop tactical game Halo Flashpoint has released, and I'm flipping overjoyed to finally have it in my powerful hands. Created by Mantic Games, Halo Flashpoint is an intense two-player tactical miniature-based game which follows the Dead Zone rules engine, delivering fast-paced, skirmish-level combat with grid-based movement mechanics. What I have before me is the Spartan edition of Flashpoint, which is currently the top tier editions that you can get of the game. It costs £100 British or $125 and includes everything that you need to get invested in the game and more. There's also a few expansion packs for Wave 1 that are available to buy separately if this edition still doesn't quench your thirst. But if you don't want to fork out the cash on the Spartan edition, there's also a smaller Recon edition for $75 which will still offer everything that you need to get yourself immersed in the game. But the Spartan edition will of course be the best valued set. Wave 1 of Flashpoint is currently out of stock directly from Mantic, but you haven't missed your chance just yet, as you can still order it now for a second run which will be shipping in March next year alongside Wave 2, which I go over in more detail in my October recap video here. A quick disclaimer though before I jump balls deep into this set. I'm going to be looking at this purely through the lenses of a Halo collector. I'm not really into tabletop games or spending time with other humans. Sadly, neither are my cup of tea, but of course I completely get the hype and appeal for these types of games, so I hope you understand. But first up, this set has a really outstanding box. The artwork for me is just insane. Like, it's real simple, don't get me wrong, it's just 4 Spartans on the front, but I absolutely love it. So I'm completely bored to death of having the same old basic stock pictures of Chief plastered all over merch. It's really great to see something that's completely original created for once. Also, without Chief on it, it's completely daring, but I appreciate the move just to mix things up. Flashpoint is obviously focusing on Infinite, with the Mark 7 Spartans highlighted in all their glory. On one side you get a render of the Mark 7 with the Zvezda helmet, which was the very first helmet in Infinite's store, so that is a nice throwback right there. Then on the other side you get some snapshots of the games and the miniatures in action. Just a reminder though, the miniatures are supplied unpainted. Mine are going to be looking utter crap when I do decide to paint them, but I will be trying to get some duplicates and some cheaper 40k sets as well, just to test my skills before I commit to painting on these. Then on the top side you get a picture of some of the miniatures included. The elites are currently exclusive to this edition only. Then on the back you get the contents of the set and some nice images of the game. There's definitely a lot packed in here. I already feel like the game is good for the price, but let me know what you think in the comments. But let's not delay things any further and open this bad boy up and jump into all the guts. And it's a deep boy, I can tell you that. Again, just around the sides is that amazing artwork. Everything about this set is designed to keep you hard. First up, we've got the leaflet of the other games that Mantic offer, Kings of War Ambush and Dead Zone, which the rules of Flashpoint are based off. Let me know if you've dabbled into either of these games. But then we've got the instructions on how to build the structures that are included. These look pretty easy to build, they're just tabs and pegs to pop in. No glue is required, so even simpletons like us aren't going to struggle, which is nice. But then we've got the actual rulebook of the game itself. Now this is an absolute thick beast with 47 pages, and yes, that is a lot of pages to me because I'm not a massive fan of reading. Words hurt my brain, but just skimming through this thing, I'm just completely gobsmacked by the number of rules and guidelines for this game. I'm sure there's plenty of die-hard fans out there who can be lapping this up like crack. But I'm also sure there's going to be plenty of YouTube videos out there for lazy twats like myself who just need the basics of the game if I'm going to jump into it. But just jumping through this thing, it just goes in depth into everything. Honestly, massive props to anybody who could even memorise half the information in these rules. There's details on everything, it's insane. 40k and tabletop fans are going to be laughing at me here, but I put milk in tea first. See, I've pissed up the instructions for that already. I'm not going to remember all of this. But from the small amount that I have read, it's cool that there's going to be different scenarios as well to play. The standard one being Slayer, but you've got all the familiar faces of Halo's multiplayer included. And next up we've got the paper playmat, which gives you a field outpost on one side, and of course on the other side, more flipping rules. But this is just your standard playmat, so there's nothing much here to get excited about, because that is what the Dulux two-sided playboard is for. It's nice to have a spare with the paper one included, but this Dulux board just levels things up to 1000. It has the same field outpost on one side, and on the other side you've got the UNSC firebase. which of course can keep your games fresh and mix things up with the location and stories that you can tell. Wave 2 will be releasing deluxe gaming mats for both of these, and hopefully we can get more themed mats in the future, Banished and Covenant themed. Give me a flood theme, that'll be sick. Next up, we've got 6 boards which hold all of the terrain pieces and tokens. They're made of the same card stock as the playboard, and that's a pretty good material right there. The tokens include weapons and items which will help you play the different game types and actions. It would have been much nicer if they were made out of some sort of plastic, as I could see these getting bent and scuffed over time, especially if you're building them and taking them apart and lobbing them back into the box. There is a set for the hard plastic terrain in Wave 1, but it's $100, so I could sort of see why it wasn't included in this set, but it would have been nice to have, even if it did bump up the price a little. But next up, we've got an organiser compartment thingy, for keeping all the pieces and tokens once you pack the game away. It's got a protective top over it, so a unit like me can easily remove it. But inside you've got 2 flags, which are likely to be used for the capture the flag scenario. They look pretty good, and of course you get to paint them however you like. You also get all of these UNSC pieces. I had a good old look through the instructions as well, just to figure out what they are and if there's any rules around them, but I couldn't really find anything, so they're just referred to as plastic 3D arena accessories. You've got some crates and UNSC themed bases. Maybe they are scenario specific, but maybe they are just scenery things to place around. But what is nice, you get to paint them however you like. But you also get a skull here for Oddball, and it's wicked that they've managed to work all of these iconic multiplayer items into the game as well. But then you've got one of the coolest additions to this set, and that's this sexy little Master Chief miniature. Everybody who pre-ordered the game would have got one of these little chaps included for free, and he looks absolutely fantastic. If you didn't manage to pick him up in the initial pre-order, you can get him again in the paint set. I've got this one coming at the end of the month, so I'm going to be painting one of these Chiefs for sure. It is also really cool to get Halo themed paints. But Chief with his energy sword and everything is just so cool. I feel like being buried with this figure will be a great honour. And then the last slab that we've got for the set, apart from this yummy little treat for later, includes all of the sexy ass figures. First up, we've got all of the character and weapon cards that you need to play the game. There's a card for every single type of figure, its stats and the rules which are going to be in line with the wider game. There's of course more cards here for the exclusive Spartans and the elites, as well as the Chief that you got for pre-ordering. The weapons also have their own rules and points as well, it's just mad once again. Then we've got 8 command dice and 12 D8 dice. And there's a lot of awesome things to get excited about here, but having little Halo themed dice is just got to be one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. I feel like I want to keep one of these in my pocket at all time, they just look brilliant. But now to finish things up, we've got the real meat and potatoes of Flashpoint, and that is the 20 unpainted miniatures that come with the set. First up, having the unpainted colour of the Spartans, red and blue, is just on point. Fantastic work right there. There's 8 unique Spartan moulds included, with blue and red for each, so that's 16 in total. The 4 moulds which are available in the Recon set are the Mark 7 with the Bulldog, Assault Rifle, Sniper Rifle and Commando. Then there's 4 which are exclusive to the Spartan edition, which are the Mark 7 with the Stalker Rifle, Pulse Carbine, Needler and Cinder Shot. These 4 are also going to be releasing on a set on their own in Wave 2, so don't feel like you're missing out. All 8 of these look really good. The detail and sculpting on them is beautiful. I am really happy if all of these did remain unpainted, but I am jealous of those who have the skills to bring all of them to life with paint. Like I said, I'm going to be painting a few once I get duplicates, but I will be proper cocking them up at first. And then you got the 4 elites which are also exclusive to this set. These elites are probably my favourite thing out of this entire box, even including the dice, which of course I love. Just look at how amazing all of these look together. You've got one with an energy sword, plasma rifle, needler and pulse carbine. The Mantic are crazy giving one of them a plasma rifle. That's not even in Infinite, even though it bloody should be. Currently this is the only way to pick up these elites. They're not coming into Wave 2 like Fireteam Hydra. But Mantic have teased that Wave 3 will have more banished figures, which will be coming out later next year. So hopefully this 4-pack will release with some brutes as well, which would be really cool. But otherwise, this launch set of figures is absolutely stunning. All the Spartans look fantastic, the elites just really round things up, it's real good. And then that's everything that's included in the box. Even though I'm not going to be likely playing the game and experience all the full offerings that it has, as once again face-to-face experiences of other humans just sounds real unappealing, I completely see all the worth of a set like this. Every single thing that you need to jump in and play Flashpoint is included. The figures are just outstanding, they just look sick. Not all the Spartan helmets would be my first choice given that there's only 8 to pick, but the weapons are just really awesome and the poses are really well done. I can't say much for the other sets out there, but the Spartan edition should be the best for value. So if you want to jump into Flashpoint, I'd heavily recommend that you start here. There's an Ultimate Bundle live on Mantic's site which will net you this box alongside most sets in Wave 2, and these Wave 2 bundles also include the weapon for free as well. I'm seeing tons of hype around Flashpoint, and Mantic have said that it's been their best release so far. I'm just really hoping that they're going to be continuing strong for Flashpoint for years to come. I know the game is centered around infantry, but just how awesome would it be if they had vehicles mixed into the game as well? Even if they're only scenery, just having them to paint and just own would be really cool. So games like this have multiple different offerings. You've got the game itself, which people are going to be playing with their mates and just enjoying in person. But then there's also the collecting side of it as well for people like me who's going to stick it on the shelf and stare at it from across the room. And then there's also the painting and building diorama side of things as well. So they keep adding to this. You've got multiple different people who are going to be really happy. And the community really gets to show off their skills as well as they build all these really epic dioramas and take pictures and post them all over Instagram as well. So I just really love things like that. So Flashpoint, I can see this being a start of something really amazing. But what about yourself? If you're a collector, have you picked this up and what are your thoughts on the set? If you've purchased this to play Flashpoint with your bros, let me know how it is. Does it being Halo themed make the experience that much better? And if you're buying this to paint and build dioramas as well, what are your thoughts? Or maybe you're in it for all three. Either way, let me know in the comments and don't forget to subscribe for more Halo gear news and reviews. Catch you next time, you juicy Spartans. Peace out.